I started out my smartphone experience right at the launch of the very first Android phone, HTC's G1, and stuck to that OS until the last couple years. We've been testing and comparing the Note 8 against the iPhone 8 and iPhone 10, which obviously run Apple's iOS, for over a month now, and I think it's time to talk about the real-world differences between the two flagship devices. Both phones have a really premium feel due to the all-metal and glass construction, but I do prefer the build of the iPhone 10. The screen is really nice on the Note 8, with a higher resolution that provides a sharper image and less color shift when viewing at off angles. I also prefer the larger size of the display for multimedia, but the phone is uncomfortable in your hand. The iPhone 8 Plus is similar in hand, but the iPhone 10's smaller size is perfect for most people. I was honestly a bit disappointed with the iPhone 10's display at first, since the surface size is actually smaller than the iPhone 8 Plus's, even though it's rated at a larger 5.8 inches. Now that I'm used to the size, the Note 8 feels huge in the hand, but if you watch a lot of video, its larger display provides for a great viewing experience. Unfortunately, the speakers on the Note 8 are quite poor. Not only are the iPhone speakers much louder, but they are also higher quality with more punch on the low end, clearer mids, and crisp highs. The other big difference is the stereo sound. Apple started using the earpiece speaker along with the bottom loudspeaker in the iPhone 7, and they've perfected and balanced the sound on the iPhone 10, which provides a massively better audio experience than the Note 8. Because of this, even though I do prefer the much larger screen, the one that doesn't have an annoying notch in my videos, I'd still choose the iPhone 10 any day if I'm using the built-in speakers. But other than when watching videos, the notch is fine. We compared speaker quality in a recent video. You can hear the difference for yourself by clicking the card above. iPhones have typically been known for taking the best photos, but in the last couple of years, Android phones have really caught up. We tested both cameras for photo quality, and the Note 8 was just slightly ahead. It seemed to be a bit sharper, the noise reduction was better, and the blur effect photos turned out nicer as well. The iPhone 10 did a better job with color accuracy and dynamic range, but that wasn't enough. However, the iPhone 10 definitely takes the cake on the video side, being able to shoot high-resolution video at higher frame rates with better video quality, especially shooting slow-motion video. I was basically forced to switch over to Bluetooth headsets on the iPhone, and thus don't really have a need for the Note 8's headphone jack, but it's still there because Samsung loves to give you options. When they add a new feature, they rarely take away an old one. Because of that, we have face unlock, iris scanning, and fingerprint scanning. In the real world, Face ID beats them all since it's really fast, secure, and convenient. Most of the time, I don't even notice it's there, almost like going back to the days when no one had passcodes on their phones. If you want to see our detailed comparison, click the card above. Now I do like having the fingerprint scanner, but its location on the Note 8 is ridiculous. Even with large hands, it's inconvenient to have to reach up right next to the camera lenses to unlock it. Plus, if it's laying flat on the table, you have to pick up your phone in order to use it. I think it would have been much better to have it right where the Samsung logo is, below the camera lenses. The iPhone 10 performs much better in benchmarks, but we won't get too far into that since in real world use there isn't really much of a difference other than some UI lag every once in a while on the Note 8. But with that said, the iPhone 10's extra performance will come in handy if you're a person who keeps their phones for a few years. Battery life is close, with the Note 8 coming out on top by a slim margin, but we definitely noticed that the Note 8's battery drains much faster in standby. The Note 8 does have more RAM, and in specific tests, when you're opening a bunch of apps, it'll keep apps open longer, but for most of us, there's really no real-world difference. One of my big complaints with the iPhone 10 was the control center being at the top, but with the Note 8, we have the same scenario, just a larger screen to reach further across to access it. One aspect I really like about the Note 8, well, Android in general, is the notification bar at the top. I used to miss a lot of notifications when I switched to an iPhone since it's easy for me to pass up on the icon notifications if you already have multiple text messages or emails. When the number goes up by a 1, you really don't notice it. Thankfully with iOS 11, I can now bring down the notifications, but I still prefer the notification bar since I can see that I've got a new email or text since the last time I checked that app. The last area where I think the Note 8 really excels in is multitasking. The ability to have multiple apps open at once is really convenient. The iPhone 10's quick app switching is nice, but nothing like watching a video while going through emails at the same time. I've owned almost every single Note phone except the Note 7, which I avoided for obvious reasons, and with each one of these new phones, I would use the S Pen for a few days, and then put it away and never use it again until I bought a newer version of the Note. The stylus really isn't much use for me, so I can't count it against the iPhone 10 for not including one. While the Apple ecosystem does make it tougher to use an Android phone, my personal choice is still the iPhone 10, even if I didn't own any other Apple products. The mix of great performance, nice display, convenient Face ID, surprisingly good speakers, and software that may limit options but lets me do what I need as simply as possible seals the deal. If you enjoyed this video, like it and hit that subscribe button. Also, check out our price guide, which makes it extremely easy to find the best deals on Apple products updated daily. Be sure to follow us on social media, and we'll see you in the next video.